And well, I guess I'll give this a second to start. You seen the little countdown, Other John?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Official.
So what's great about this little system that we're using, it's a great little system for podcasts, is that it's recording all of our audio individually, meaning
Hmm.
like if there's internet connectivity problems and one of us spazzes out, it's not going to mess up the audio. Like I'll be able to grab your clean audio
Oh,
directly
cool.
from your, um, so yeah, so
Nice.
that's kind of what's happening. And
Cool.
let's see, what was I going to say? We have the flow of our podcast is that we play a little theme song. We have little theme songs that transition us from
I like it.
everything that we do. So,
Interstitial
I'll
music,
just so
right?
you have
Isn't that the term?
what is it? Yeah, transition music. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Interstitial. Yeah.
So I'll when we're ready to actually start like we have not started the podcast yet. Technically, this is what we call the pre-show. I'll hit our little intro jingle, and then come on, John and I'll come on the mic and we'll introduce you and kind of give you a quick, I'll introduce you the best I can, and then kind of let you fill in the blanks. And
Sure.
then we do a section called Tidy Up, which is where we tidy up any errors maybe we've made in the past or things we need to fill in on. So, you if you have anything in your life that you need to tidy up, that would be the time to do it, Other John. But then right after Tidy Up, I play a little quiz time jingle, and that's when we'll lead the way out the whole time and just say, all right, it's time for our quiz, and Other John is going to quiz us, and then we'll kind of throw it to you. All right, you ready for number one? And we'll go from there.
Cool. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. And Kevin, I know we were already talking about it a little bit, and we were going to talk about it afterwards, but do we want to just make a decision on we're going to just postpone 52 for a week, and that way we can just put it in this episode saying, hey, don't worry, there's not going to be one next week, but there'll be a big one like after?
I'm debating about that. Because I wonder, because that's probably the route we're going to take.
Right.
But it almost feels like that's more something we could just put on our socials, like the day the episode's supposed to come out, just kind of say. And even if you and I, John, got a quick second in the week to just record a quick little, hey, we're, episode 52, we're real excited about it, but we want to make sure we do it right, so we're going to delay it. I think that's probably the safer way to do it.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. I had one tidy up from last week. I don't know if you had any. What should I call you? OG John? OG John? Is that going to be the OG John and Other John? I think that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Hey, Other John.
Yeah.
I feel so silly.
I'm the Faux John.
What'd you call it? O John?
Faux John. Faux John.
Oh, come on. At least go with the PHO.
Okay, yeah. You love
Actually, I'll save this question for when we're actually on the mic. I think it'll be more fun if it's spontaneous, so I'll hold off on that.
Cool.
All right. How's everyone feeling? You guys, should we just kind of get ready to jump into it? Any questions that you had, Faux John, Other John?
I don't know. It was the first time, so I don't know what to expect.
Good. I love your attitude. You shouldn't know what to expect, and we're gonna get a full genuine you, and that's all that matters.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hit the little quiz time jingle, and you'll hear and follow our lead. All right, ready to go?
All right.
Okay. Hopefully this works. Ready? Both Johns ready? Yeah.
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 Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. John likes tech and lives in Indiana, Kevin likes the Dodgers and talks on the radio. John plays games on Xbox and on his Nintendo, while Kevin runs around LA with his mustachio. It's the Lack of Genius podcast in your ear holes at last. They don't know they're Mars from Venus, that's why it's the Lack of Genius podcast. We're on double John duty today, John.
We are.
There's John, who I'm going to refer to as OG John, but we have a guest today whose name is also John.
Yep.
And we've brainstormed a few identifying names for him. We've kind of gone with Other John and Faux John. They're both Jon John, so there's so little to differentiate. But I'd like to officially welcome Other John to the podcast. Hello, Other John. John Nieva, welcome. I felt like during that intro song, you just got I feel like you learned a lot, and I don't mean that facetiously or bragging, but I could see you saying like, oh, yeah, Kevin does have a mustache, and he does like the Dodgers, and John lives in Indiana. Okay, so hopefully you're all up to speed on who we are now. Yeah.
I do like that pronunciation. Very sound.
Are you? Oh man. OG John, are you getting that too? Is it all breaking up for you? Or is that just me?
It is a little.
All right, it's Other John. We can't hear you for some reason, so we might have to have you leave again and come back. I'm
Just try turning your video off.
Oh, turn your video off for a sec and see if that makes.
My
a
guess is
difference.
it's just a bandwidth issue.
Oh,
Disable cam.
okay, that sounded better. But then we don't get to see your face the whole time.
You're not.
I love that it's an initial for O. That's your identifier for Other John.
Yeah.
All right.
How is that?
That sounds a lot better.
Yep.
All right, so let's just if you could repeat your answer in as genuine a way as possible, because I was so curious what you said, but I couldn't hear it.
I appreciated the pronunciation of mustachio. It's very Italian. Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate that. Makes me want some pistachios as well. That's
Oh
what
my
I learned.
gosh. Other John, you're blowing my mind right now, because we just did an episode about my mustache and learned a little bit about the origins of the word mustache and where mustachio comes in. And I literally have a song that I'm working on where I rhyme mustachio with pistachio. So you're just
Hey.
we're on the same wavelength right now,
We
Other
are.
John.
We are. If you need a bassist, let me know.
Oh my gosh, you know what? We may have to talk, Other John, because you're
Okay.
this will be a good chance for me to kind of introduce who you are and how I know you, because you're someone who I'm going to shower with compliments now. You're someone who is you're kind, you're creative, you're funny, you're an original thinker. I think very highly of you, Other John. OG John, I think very highly of you as well. I don't want you to feel left out. But
That's good.
we're trying to hype up our guest right now.
Oh,
and
man.
I mean it. And so you may be someone who I need to like collaborate further with on some of my songwriting stuff. But
Do it.
Other John's context today is all things dodgeball. Other John and I have known each other. Theoretically, we crossed paths in elementary school,
This is
knowing of each other, but I believe we're a year apart from each other, so never had like classes together. Other John ended up going to the high school that my dad teaches at, and I believe he was your physical education teacher at some point. My dad was the athletic director there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I randomly signed up for a dodgeball league with my best friend a few years back, and there is John Nieva, this guy I went to elementary school, and we had this whole conversation about, oh, your dad taught me in PE, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a little context about who Other John is, and if you want to fill in any blanks, feel free. But I'd also love to hear about what your dodgeball journey has been, and sort of prove that you're worthy of being here, if you will.
I don't think I am, to just preface everything. When you said we need a dodgeball expert, I was like, man, enthusiast at most.
Enthusiast.
But I'll try my best. Yeah. When did it all start? I guess, I mean, if we want to really get to the genesis of it, I guess it was elementary school, because we all played it. But it was a vastly different style. Like, we couldn't actually chuck it. We had to roll balls. It was my this was Lomita Elementary. I don't know if they changed the rules. They're like, you can only roll the balls and people can only jump over it.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think too many kids were getting, detached corneas and concussions, maybe.
Do you have a specific teacher tied to that?
Ooh, it wasn't teachers. I think it was the yard duties,
duty.
as they were called.
Yep.
And I can't remember one specifically, but yeah, that's I remember, like, I just want to chuck this. Like, no, you have to roll it underhand, like you're bowling.
You're
And kids
getting
would just
far,
hop over it.
which is why you're also a great bowler. I'm sure that's where that.
Quite the contrary. But yeah, I didn't play dodgeball until I guess it was 2012. I was in grad school, and our cohort, it was our last year together, and we figured, hey, we should do something together, some bonding. So a couple of them did the trampoline dodgeball, which I missed out on, but some of them got bit by the bug. So hey, we to play down the it was the NLA League in Orange County, the next level arena. So they had this big like warehouse where they would have kids playing basketball, volleyball, and off in the corner was a bunch of adults chucking dodgeballs at each other. So yeah, that's kind of the starting point of that dodgeball journey, is a bunch of grad students playing and getting demolished every week, but kept coming back for more. I stuck around while the other people moved on with their lives. Like, hey, this is fun. Only look out for more dodgeball to play. And soon enough, I was playing 6 nights a week. To this day.
Yeah, it's, you know, and it is an incredibly fun sport. It's really an incredibly it all depends on what you put into it, right? But it's really an incredibly challenging sport. It really does require a lot of how do I want to say this? Just enhancing of skills, learning, growing, understanding strategy, understanding teamwork, understanding chemistry of teams, and it blew my mind when I joined that dodgeball league. I ended up playing for several years, and to be honest, it's mostly my bizarre work schedule that keeps me. If I could commit to like a weekly game, I would be there. But John became to me. John is a very modest and humble human being, and a reason that I appreciate him. But he became sort of the face of what is the league that we played in, World Dodgeball Society, WDS. He's well known by everyone, well liked, well respected, even headed, even keeled. I mean, some people will get heated in this, and John always kept an even head. He was always if I was ready to punch someone in the face, I would go to the other John, and he'd be like, "Kevin, you need to take it down 7 notches." No, he wouldn't say that exactly, but just a smiling, welcoming presence that appreciated in my time there, and I know many others did as well. Other John.
Oh, thanks. I was so happy for you to see that you had won a championship in the Westchester League. When I saw the pictures, like, yes, he did it. He got to experience. He got to the mountaintop.
Other John and I played on a team together for I would say several years, if my memory serves correctly. I mean, you were all the while playing on many other teams, but within the league that I was in with you, we were called the Sphere Avoiders, because that's what we're doing, is we're dodging balls. Yeah. And we were kind of like a ragtag team at first, and then just sort of started developing our skills, recruiting players. And I want to say we made it to one championship in my time there, and it was a blast, and I loved this team, but we never won a championship. And then a few years back, I joined a different league and got on a team as a free agent, and this team was a blast, and we ended up winning the championship. John wasn't on that team with me, but I appreciate your enthusiasm for seeing that I finally got to get one of them trophies.
Absolutely. I think even more important than like a championship team is to be on a team that's fun. So that I'm glad that you got to play on with some good people, some fun-hearted people that just, they're just there to goof around, but just happen to be really good too. So you lucked out.
It was literally a win-win for me, because the Sphere Avoiders were one of were probably the most fun team I ever played on, and then I ended up playing on a few teams that weren't as fun. And so when I got on a team that was as fun as that team was, and then also won, I couldn't have asked for better. So you hit it on the head.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get into a quiz that Other John has put together for us about all things dodgeball. But first, we are going to tidy some things up, if you're all okay with that. Yeah, let's do it.
Tidy up before we go any further with the show. Tidy up before we go fix our mistakes tonight. I wanna get it right. Tidy up.
So, Other John, the question that I was saving for you is whether you grew up as a fan of either Pee Wee Herman or Ernest P. Worrell. What your knowledge is of these two characters?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'd have to be Pee Wee Herman. by default
Yeah.
because I don't think I know the second character that you mentioned.
All right. How about that? Well, this may be a tidy up for us to educate you on a little bit of Ernest knowledge. So
I mean,
Please.
do you know why we still have Christmas?
You're
there,
not. I imagine it's
Because
of
because of his
Saved it.
Ernest P. Worrell.
Ernest saved Christmas.
The last name, okay. Well, once you
The la-
take out the last name.
So you know the Ernest movies.
Yes.
Got it. You just didn't know he was Ernest P. Worrell. And so you
Yes,
know that
exactly.
Ernest saves Christmas, right?
Yes. Well, I know that he went to prison. I definitely saw that.
Yes. He went to jail. He went to Africa. He got scared stupid. He's also been to camp. So yeah, the man's been very
Yeah.
busy. That is who we did our episode on last time. And what's interesting, it's interesting that you mentioned his last name, Other John, because that is sort of what I'm tidying up. It actually wasn't an error that either of us made, OG John. But
Okay.
that as I did a little bit of research after, because we learned that his name is Ernest P. Worrell. We learned that the P stands for Power Tools, which is very bizarre, and origins are still kind of unknown. We believe it's from a newsletter, if we learned correctly. But as I did kind of a deeper dive, like, what is it with this Power Tools thing? There is a large part of the population that thought his last name was World, W-O-R-L-D, Ernest P. Worrell. It's Worrell, W-O-R-R-E-L-L. And I realized that within our podcast, OG John, we technically never clarified that because I didn't know it was a confusing thing for people.
I
So
didn't
there
either.
may be people, there may be people who were listening to that episode like, oh, okay, I don't know who this Ernest P. Worrell is, but I felt like it was worth tidying up to make sure we clarified that.
No, fair enough.
Other
yeah.
John, when you heard the last name, what did you hear? Did anything jump out at you?
I heard Worrell. Maybe I was
Okay.
thinking of Todd Worrell, the baseball player, former Dodger.
Yes. Oh,
You know?
this is an even better thing to tidy up. Is that one of the things that Other John and I very much connect on is our love for the Dodgers. In fact,
Yes, sir.
as somebody who I pride myself on sort of being that person that people think of like, oh, Kevin's a big Dodger fan. Other John is the person that I think of like, oh yeah, this guy is this guy. The fact that you just referenced Todd Worrell, a closer from the 90s that
Yes, sir.
only a small subset of Dodger fans probably people would know. I can't tell you how much that warmed my heart.
Yeah. A fun game I like to engage in mentioning old players. It's called Remember That Guy or Remembering Dudes. I think that's what we call it.
Oh,
Todd Worrell is definitely at the top of that list.
Todd Worrell is a strong one on that list. Yeah, the last time Other John and I, we've run into each other randomly at Dodger games. In fact, I believe I was the one who introduced you to the pickle sunflower seeds. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We
Yes.
we ran into it. It was at the not at the game, but at the Dodger
The bus
shuttle
ride home.
post game.
Yes.
Yes, and then you flashed the bag of seeds, and my world was changed forever.
So if there's one thing to take away from today's episode, it's that pickle flavored sunflower seeds are life changing, and you should purchase a bag as soon as possible.
Yes.
And we are sponsored by Pickle Sunflower Seeds. No specific brand, just Lack of Genius Podcast, sponsored by pickle flavored sunflower seeds.
I mean, and something else that, is, I guess, sponsoring us is if you go to lackofgenius.com/store.
Oh, yeah, John.
You can you can buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, and there might be more stuff coming down the pipe later. But right now we got a t-shirt that comes in 2 colors and a hoodie that comes in 1.
Yes.
the fake mustache.
I feel like all right, we're gonna add a fake Lack of Genius mustache and lack of genius pickle flavored sunflower seeds all on the
There
way
you go.
soon. You heard it here
Hey.
first. All right, I feel tidied up. Let's we're gonna get into our quiz time jingle. Here we go.
Well, I got one more thing, Kevin.
Oh, my bad, OG John.
Yeah, because I remembered something.
Uh-huh.
We asked people a week or 2 ago, about the survey.
Yes.
The survey is still out there. We'll post the link in the show notes this week. So just go there, click on it, fill it out. We just want to know how we're doing, what you think would make us better. So help us help you.
Here's what I'm going to say, because I realize I can edit this out if we choose to go otherwise, but I'm going to throw in anyone who fills out this survey. I'm going to throw in a free Lack of Genius beer koozie or soft drink koozie, drink koozie, whatever you want. John and I will discuss it after the show to make sure we are actually capable of doing that. But as an incentive to fill out this survey, you got a free Lack of Genius koozie on your way. So, so get on it.
Or sticker.
Or sticker. Oh, there we go. We got options. Okay, here we go. Quiz time jingle. Do it. Oh, very low volume.
It's time to take a quiz or two. Lack of Genius podcast doing this for you. You may fail, but it ain't no lie, baby. It's quiz time. Don't really want this quiz to be tough. I just want to pass one because I failed enough. Might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. It's quiz time.
I think I might also interchangeably call you Dodgeball John. I don't know.
Ah.
John is funny, but it feels very, I think you're going to hear all the above. But Dodgeball John
Hey.
is here to educate us on all things dodgeball by giving us a quiz to prove the lack of genius that we have regarding that subject. Now, I have played a lot of dodgeball, so there maybe I have an advantage, maybe I don't. I have not looked ahead at the questions. But John, man, if you beat me, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna shake your hand very firmly. I think I have the upper hand, so let's see if you can pull off the upset.
We'll see.
All right. So
All right, other John, Dodgeball John, I'll hand off the reins to you, man. When you're ready to jump into the quiz, let's go for it.
okay, let's do it. All right, here we go. So first question. In the World Dodgeball Society, this is WDS recreation leagues that Kevin and I played in, games are normally played with this amount of balls. A, 2, B, 7, C, 5, D, 3, or E, 0. We pantomime.
Pantomime? I have not heard this term. And I like that we got E option. I don't know that we've John, have we ever had an E option?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have. You've put in 5 options before. I feel like I've never heard it said E. That was very exciting for me. I'm gonna be honest. All right, OG John, what are your thoughts? Because I'm gonna tell you that I know this answer factually. Unless
Either B or
I
C.
choose it and I'm wrong and I feel like an idiot. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I know this answer factually. You said either B or C, John?
Yeah.
Which is what are those, 7 and 5?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with B.
You're gonna say B7?
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
No thought.
No thought, just choosing it?
Yep.
All right, I'm also choosing B7 in a factual way because my memory of this is I'll let Dodgeball John explain it better. But part of the strategy of dodgeball is having control of the ball. So there's an odd number. So if you can have 4 versus 3, then you're in control. So I'm choosing B7. How did we do, Dodgeball John?
B is correct. 7
Yay,
balls.
we both got it. 7 balls. So I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but yeah, do you want to explain a little bit about this?
I'm not sure what the reason was for the uneven amount of balls, or why 7 as opposed to 5. That's just what we used. But definitely, you want to have. There's a portion of the game where you have count, so it falls on the burden of the team that has the majority of balls. So you want to have that uneven amount of balls. So it'll start with 4, but sometimes the team might have 5, 6. So on and so forth. They might have all balls, and that's just no fun for the other team.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, though, pretty much every other sport has an odd number of balls.
That is true.
Being 1 ball.
Yeah.
Baseball has
Just
1
one.
ball. Basketball has
Yeah.
1 ball.
Soccer.
They need to change it
What
up and throw in some more balls.
What a great question, though. Like, can you guys name another sport right now that uses more than 1 ball? I'm sure there is. Am I just blanking?
Croquet.
Does croquet? Oh yeah, you're right. Croquet does. Yeah, bocce ball. There's another example. Okay, good. I'm glad we asked this question because that's very important to me. One thing that I want to point
Would
out to
cornhole
both
count?
Johns here. Oh, cornhole. Are
Those aren't
well?
balls.
Are they? What are they? Sacks?
But they're not
What was-
balls.
We,
Sacks.
they're
I'm immature.
they're we actually did an episode on cornhole, by the way, so I should know this.
Ah.
Bags is what they call them.
Bags.
Yeah.
There we go.
One of the interesting things that was a surprise to me when I joined World Dodgeball Society is both teams start on one side, and my memory of dodgeball was always that all the balls were in the middle, and that at your own risk you could go and run and grab as many balls as you can, knowing that you're setting yourself up for like being hit by a ball. One of the things that I liked about WDS, World Dodgeball Society, is that you put 4 on one side of the line, 3 on the other, and as the one side of one team can only go for the 4 balls, one can only go for the 3, and then you have to take it behind a certain line before you can throw. So it creates a little less chaos in a good way. Like it actually allows you to kind of start the game on a all right, we have our balls, let's go. So yeah, that was an interesting thing for me to learn right off the bat.
Yeah, and I do believe that when that league started, they did have the setup that way, where it's just a free for all. Try to get as many balls as you can, but there were injuries, so they had to modify the rules.
Yeah, very smart.
Probably for the best.
I mean,
yeah.
Soon enough, the injuries are going to lead to a point where we can only roll the ball. Hopefully that's the
Right.
direction that this is going.
Exactly. We're just progressing to Lomita Elementary rules.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we good job, OG John, on getting that one right. We both got it. We're 1 for 1. Are you ready for number 2?
Yep.
Okay. Number 2. Among the popular leagues around the world, which ball type is not used? Is that A, rubber, B, foam, C, cork, or D, cloth?
Great question. My goodness. John, do you have any thoughts on this? I don't know the answer to this one.
I'm kind of thinking cork, only because cork is expensive, and to have a fairly decent sized ball out of cork would not be the cheapest.
Is cork expensive? I don't think I would have. I don't know one way or the other whether cork is expensive or not. Do you know that?
Yeah, I mean it's
Great
the bark
question.
of a tree,
Yeah.
and I think it's a type of oak actually, and I think there's been some ecological issues with cork trees, and there's not as many producing as there used to be.
Wow, John,
Which is why I
dropping
like
some knowledge.
Which is why a lot of wine companies are switching to synthetic corks.
Is that right?
That's
amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so other John, we have when John drops a bomb of knowledge like that, we actually have something, and what we call that is a
John Knowledge Bomb.
I don't know where that stuck, how that stuck in your mind, John, but that is mad props on that.
Yeah.
In terms of this question, I know that there are leagues that use foam balls. I know our league used rubber balls, unless it was some weird synthetic rubber, and I'm totally shocked. So I do believe it's between cork and cloth. Are you going to choose cork, John?
I think so.
I think to make things interesting, then I'm going to choose cloth because your logic is very sound, and cork is probably right for that reason. But I'm going to choose cloth just to choose something different. All right.
Okay.
All right. OG Dodgeball John. How do we do?
The correct answer is C, cork.
Nice job,
As
John.
far as I
I
know.
Wow. Did you just make up cork, by the way?
I did.
Wow.
But you know what? There might be some far off reach in the world where they have a cork ball leak, and we're just idiots.
That's
I'm
true.
an
That's
idiot.
true.
I also
will-
feel
Or
like
it
cork
could be
would
bad.
hurt.
Cork
Yeah,
does
yeah.
And in fact, I guess I'm confused. Back to baseball, I was saying, isn't the center of a baseball cork? But no, I think it's more of a.
No, it's cork.
But is it cork? Is the
It
center
is.
of a baseball
Yeah,
cork?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I was.
I was
That's what
right.
I was going with.
that's why I wondered if that's where you came up with that.
It's cork wrapped
yeah.
in like twine, and then with the leather
Yeah.
outer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cowhide.
Yes, yeah. Do you? So what is a cloth ball like? Have you ever played in a cloth league?
Once or twice, and it's so I know it's the preferred ball in the UK, from what I gather, what I've seen, and it's cloth and it's wrapped in like it's a cloth material, but it's very similar to the texture of a volleyball. Very hard to grip. So if you have like small hands like me, this is just no fun. It'll just like slip out of your hands at every turn. But yeah, that's what they're going to have the World Dodgeball Federation World Championships, and there's going to be a cloth division for the first
How
time.
about that? How about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, and I love that description of like a volleyball, because I'll admit that I couldn't picture what a cloth ball was like. You know, I'm literally picturing like a piece of cloth wrapped around it.
Yeah.
But I can totally envision what you're talking about being hard to grip, and I have been educated. You've educated me today at Dodgeball, John. Well done.
Thank you. I've done my job.
You've done your job. Which by the way, you mentioned that you have small hands, and that would be difficult. I'd like to brag about Dodgeball John. Dodgeball John is one of the best catchers that I've seen in my lifetime. In dodgeball, there, obviously throwing is a great skill to have, and John's an excellent thrower as well. But man, that boy can catch anything. When you're on the other side, when you're not on Dodgeball John's team, it's whatever you do, don't throw it at John. Or if you are, you get multiple balls going at him at once. It's you're just asking to be caught and taken out of the game if you're throwing to Dodgeball John there.
Yeah.
So
I credit my brother with that skill, because we would always play catch in our backyard, in our side yard, and it was an asset to catch everything. Otherwise, balls would go in our neighbor's yard or into the street. So I think that's where I developed my hand-eye coordination, just trying to catch everything. Yeah. So
it was a
thanks to my bro.
self-preservation thing.
It was.
Yeah, and it paid off, man. It paid off, because it is like it's a thing of beauty to watch you hone in on and catch a dodgeball. It really is. It's been a pleasure of mine in dodgeball.
Thank you.
Well, John has the lead 2 for 2, and I'm 1 for 2. So well done. Let's see how we do with number 3.
All right, number 3. I'll admit I had to Google this one. I Googled the phrase dodgeball facts.
All
so
right.
This is where I came up with with number 3.
We do that all the time on the show. Trust me.
All right. So number 3, in Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, Percy and his friend Tyson must play a game of dodgeball against A, vampires, B, giant squid, C, dolphins, or D, cannibal giants.
I am full of thoughts right now. You have lit my brain up with this question. Is this a movie, first of all?
I'm assuming this is it was a movie. I don't know if this particular book became a movie, but it is a book. That's my understanding.
I got it. It's a book. I've never heard of this book.
And they're turning it into a TV show.
Oh, wow.
You want to talk about things I don't have? I have no clue. Is this a popular book? I had no clue this was a book.
Yeah, it's like late elementary school, middle school age.
Do you think the fact that I never learned to read has something to do with it, or because
I think the first one only came out like maybe 20 years ago at most.
Okay,
like
so I would have
not
been
that old of a book series. So we would have been high school, college, probably when the first one came out.
Yeah, okay.
It was trying to ride the coattails of the Harry Potter mania, I think.
Got it.
It's like with Greek mythology and all that.
Yeah.
Well, you've once again educated me, other John, Dodgeball John. So thank you for that. So I obviously don't know the answer to this, seeing that I didn't even know what this was. Do you have any idea, OG John?
I'm trying to remember if they turned this one into a movie, because I know there's been at least 2 of them, but I don't remember. I want to say this one was the second one, but at the same time, with the name Sea of Monsters, that to me automatically rules out 2 of the things. And then I feel like having to play dodgeball against a giant squid would be difficult, because they got 8 arms.
Yeah.
right? Tentacles, and so each tentacle could catch and/or throw at the same time.
These tentacles can function as arms in this scenario. Yes.
So I'm going with B.
Yeah, I got to be honest. That's what I'm leading to for that reason. I also get in my head a little bit about like, well, Dodgeball John is pretty clever, and if the answer is cannibal giants, he would be like, what would throw him off is if I put in giant squid here. But I'm gonna play it safe and choose giant squid, and then also applaud Dodgeball John on these other choices that are incredible. But yeah, it sounds like we're both choosing B, giant squid. How do we do?
The correct answer is D, cannibal giants. You should have gone with your first instinct.
Oh
Ah.
man! Oh, this wasn't an example where I should have overthought it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And for OG John, I think the giant squid was an ode to our WDS. That is our mascot, unofficial mascot.
Yes. Which is probably why I should have even thought further about like, yeah, that's it. In fact, I have the coolest shirt with a squid and he's got all these arms on it. So it's a fantastic shirt. Wow. All right. Well, I didn't know that dodgeball was so prevalent in literature these days, and so I feel like I'm gonna have to read this book.
Yeah, just for that entry of dodgeball.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope that my hope, we do have some kids who listen to this podcast, and I'm hoping that some kid out there heard this and was like, I know this one, it's Cannibal Giants. So hopefully you made their day.
And I was pretty close on the date for the books. 2005.
Oh, were you? 2005 is when they came out. Okay, all right.
Well, that's when the first one came out. But yeah. And The Sea of Monsters was the second movie.
Yeah, and that's when you and I met, OG John, and we were both in college. So I guess it just wasn't required reading at our college, it sounds like.
No.
So. All right. Well, we both missed it. So what are we both now? Oh no, I'm still behind. I'm 1 for 3, and you're 2 for 3, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. We only have 2 questions left for me to catch up to you. All right. Shall we move forward with number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. This one also came courtesy of a Google search of dodgeball facts.
Okay.
So number 4, the largest game of dodgeball took place at a California university in 2012. Which university was it?
Ooh, and I love that it's open-ended. We just get to choose which one it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this a public university, private?
It's public. I'll answer that. Yeah, it's public.
Okay. Is it one that I would have heard of?
I think so. Yeah, this isn't some very rare. I would think this is common.
I have something that I'm leaning towards, and it's California University. So I'm realizing, and maybe this is my lack of genius of but I'm assuming it's a Cal State University, a CSU. But I guess even the way it's worded, it could be a UC something is also a California university. So I guess I could broaden that spectrum a little bit. Wow, 2012, the largest game of dodgeball. Is there anything that you had randomly in your mind, OG John, that you feel like you're gonna guess?
I'm trying to decide between UC Berkeley and Stanford.
Oh, I like this. God, it could be anything. Here, what I'm considering is, and maybe this is just, though I don't know if Dodgeball John gave me an inadvertent clue by saying he Googled this answer, because I would have thought that he would have known this, because I think it might be Cal State Long Beach, but John, Dodgeball John is that is your alma mater, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. Go Dirtbags
and
49ers.
Yeah, go Dirtbags. I also feel that this is an opportunity for me to bring up something that I don't necessarily want to bring up, but feel like we have to doing an episode about dodgeball, is that I know that the movie Dodgeball, a lot of it was filmed at Cal State Long Beach. And I say that only because as someone who played dodgeball briefly, it's almost a little bit annoying to be, well, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That's the thing that everybody brings. It's like, yes, we've all seen dodgeball.
Yeah.
This is, but it's hard to blame people for that because it is the biggest reference point back to
Absolutely.
dodgeball. So
Yeah.
I think it depends on your own attitude of how you take something like that. But because I don't have anything else to go off of, I'm going to choose Cal State Long Beach. That's what I'm choosing.
Okay.
Long Beach State.
I think I'll go Stanford.
Okay, there we go. How do we do?
So the correct answer is UC Irvine.
Oh,
UC
I was
Irvine.
somewhat in the right region. Go Anteaters, right?
Yes. It's too bad you didn't have or my camera's not working because when you mentioned UC, my eyebrows did lift. That was a big tell.
Yes. Oh, got it. I could have seen like, it is a UC. Yes. What do you have numbers on this? Like how big this game was?
That would be the follow-up question number 5.
Oh my gosh! See, I don't look ahead at all. All right. Oh my gosh! So wait a minute. So is there any other before we move on to number 5? I just want to make sure I'm not stealing any thunder about this, or is now the time to move on?
No, I don't think I have any other. It's what actually this was put on by NLA League, which is where I started in the OC.
Way.
So,
Okay.
so that was pretty neat. That's how.
And
also, when
the same time frame, right? It would have been around.
2012. Exactly.
Wow, you wait, were you in this game?
I was
John?
not. I am very sad to say that I was not, but also not so sad because I'm sure it was just chaos.
I know. I can't imagine.
Yeah, but just imagine if you're the last guy standing in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does remind me of sometimes what we would do. In fact, I think built into some of the seasons in World Dodgeball Society, there'd be like a midway point, almost like an all-star break, if you will. And it would just be a week where everybody shows up and we play a bunch of fun, different versions of dodgeball games.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the way that we would do it where everyone would be on the court is you'd split it into quadrants and you'd all start on one quadrant, but the objective is to be the last person standing. And that was always a blast. Oh my gosh, that was always so fun.
It was particularly fun in that Long Beach gym because it was very wide, right? If you recall.
Yeah.
So
yes,
it was very
there was
spacious.
like you could spread out, you could hide, you could play your strategy, you could figure it out. I remember my brother played a season or two, and he was pretty good, but he was more or less a beginner, and he made it to like the final 3 or 4 people left. And I remember sitting in this because it was one of the notorious, very good throwers in that league is Connor, if I'm not mistaken, was his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say he was left with Robert and my brother, and I know my brother wanted to beat him, but I was sitting there in the stands like, oh man, this guy Connor is. There's no way Robert's gonna get this guy out. Like he's made it pretty far, but this is where he meets his end, and I'm pretty sure he did in that way. But
I'm sure he fought valiantly.
He did, yeah, he did. I was very proud of him. I was very excited for him.
Yeah.
But okay, so we know what the last question is. We're going into it where I'm down 1, so I'm hoping that I get this right for my pride, so that we can tie.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. You want to make it official and ask us the question, Dodgeball John?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So in that game, how many participants were involved? And this is, I guess, the closest number question.
So we're playing Price is Right rules then.
Yeah.
Meaning closest without going over? Or just whoever gets the closest? You get to choose.
Yeah, who gets the closest. Yeah, whether it's over or under, just choose the closest.
Okay, so that way we can't use strategy where if I choose first and John thinks it's slower, he can say 1. Is basically what it is. It's who gets closest regardless of if you go over.
Yeah.
By the way, this makes me think that Dodgeball John was a member of our mustache hair survey. He was, in fact, we shouted you out in that episode because you gave a very hilarious response in that you said you were going to go search how many hairs does Mr. Pringle's mustache have in it. That was, yeah. And I don't remember do you remember what you guessed? I doubt you do. Do you think about this every day? Like, I wonder how close I got.
Oh yeah. Every day, every waking moment.
Yeah, I figured so. I don't remember what you guessed, but just to close the loop for you, what I decided is whatever the average guess was is how many hairs is officially in my mustache. And so the average guess was 991, and that is how many hairs are in my mustache officially.
Holy
So,
moly.
Yeah.
I
you're
was
welcome.
thinking in the neighborhood of 200, but I thought that might be too much, but I don't know.
Yeah. I will admit that the 200 to 300 range was actually a pretty popular guess, but there were also some pretty high guesses, and then the majority were probably, obviously they were right in that 900 range, but
Yeah.
991. All right, how many participants were involved?
Can I ask a
OG John?
clarifying question?
Yeah.
What kind of venue was this held in? Was it like on a football field, in a gym?
Ooh,
A parking
yeah.
lot?
So it was outdoors, yeah, in like a football field or soccer field.
okay. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Do you think? Tell me if I'm overthinking this, but OG John, do you think to make this fair, we should both decide what our guesses are and then say them so that we're not?
Yeah,
Or
I'd
am I
say
over?
so.
Okay, all right. So I'm
Do,
thinking.
do you know how long the game lasted?
Well, that's a good question. I do not. I do not.
Okay.
I like that you're trying to gather data because that would be helpful. That would help us
Right?
lead us to the answer.
I appreciate the process, OG John.
OG John. I've been hovering around a certain number, and I'm gonna kind of choose a weird sort of placement near that, but I think I'm ready to make a guess. If you are, OG John.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Okay. I've locked mine in, and I promise I won't change it. Do you want to say yours first, or?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
324.
Ooh, see, so I'm going much higher, and we'll see where this falls. The number I had in my head is 2,111.
Ooh.
So it should be pretty clear who the winner is in this, because John, you said what, 324?
Yeah.
And I said 2,111. Dodgeball John, are you ready to reveal the answer?
Yes, sir. So the amount of participants in this game, 6,084.
Ooh,
Oh.
so wow. So even that's for you, John. Even OG John being pretty far off, I was pretty far off too.
Yeah, yeah.
Triple my answer. 6,000 and what?
I wish I knew how many balls they used, but I remember seeing a picture and it was just chaos.
I can only imagine. It was, what was the answer again? 6,000.
84.
6,084. I can't even imagine, because even in that sort of quadrant game that I described, it's I would say it's ordered chaos, but that gets chaotic compared to what we're used to.
Just think of how much cheating took place, Kevin.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to say this has to be total honor system here. There's not, because in World Dodgeball Society there are refs, they're members of the league who are assigned to reffing certain games. But man, if I got hit in the first 3 seconds of the game, I'd be like, screw that, man. I'm staying in. I'm just going to go hide among this
Yeah,
other group of hundreds
exactly.
of people.
Yeah. It's a lot of finger pointing.
Totally,
I'm sure.
totally. And it is funny you say that, because within the rule, and I was sort of joking about getting hot-headed. I think I kept my cool for the most part, but I definitely will admit to times where I got upset or didn't want to. I don't recall ever blatantly lying about being hit, but there are times where it's like, okay, did that ball like catch my shirt and I don't want to get out? Because technically if it catches any part of your clothing, you're out.
Yeah.
And so I'll admit
Yeah.
that pride got the best of me at times, and it's like, oh, I don't want to get out on that cheap little throw, so I'm not going to admit to it. I don't remember if I did that outright or
Kevin.
not, but that thought certainly crosses your mind, right? Of like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is and it's a
Gaffing.
reminder of like playing by integrity and playing fairly. But in this
Mhm.
6,000 person game, man, I don't know how you live by the honor system in that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I guarantee that was you're breaking up again.
I agree with
Dodgeball
whatever you
John.
said.
Yeah, I know. I have a feeling I do agree with whatever you said. I hear what that thing was.
Shoot.
Oh, there you go. I heard shoot pretty clearly. Go ahead and say that again.
I was saying you probably to avoid any confusion, balls in the face. So
Yeah. No
avoid any
balls
of
in the
cheating.
face.
Yeah, all balls in the face. 100 balls.
All balls in the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you bring up
That
another
would do
good
it.
point that is a rule, at least within World Dodgeball Society, and I think most leagues. I could be wrong on that, but no headshots.
Yeah.
If you're hit in the head, is it in World Dodgeball Society? Is the thrower out in that instance? I can't remember.
It depends on the league. So if it's a beginner friendly league, standing throwers out because you don't want to encourage that. And then the other leagues, just everyone's safe. Like if you're crouching, if you have 3 points of contact, if you get in the face, just everyone is safe in that instance. But there's the competitive leagues where all of that
everything
counts.
goes.
Yeah, everything goes.
Where everything goes. Yeah. And that is another one of those interesting sort of intricacies about the sport of dodgeball, again, as compared to like maybe how you played in elementary school, is that, there is so much strategy. So if you know that if the rule was a blanket, like, okay, if I get hit in the face, then I'm not out, then you could just theoretically crouch down low the whole time and take all the headshots you want, because if you were willing to take it. So that's why I like that. I always like that rule that if you're in a 3-point stance, meaning 3 points of contact, a knee, a foot, an arm, then what is it? Then if you do get hit in the face, then you're safe, right?
Yeah, you're safe. But the thrower is also safe. Yeah.
Yes.
Forget
Got it.
There was a guy who would purposely throw his face into the line of danger, and we actually named a rule after him because he would, blatantly jump into his face into the way of throws to get throwers out. It's a very strategic thing for him.
What is it safe to say what the name is called, or is it a we don't want to embarrass the dude?
I mean, I could say his name.
Yeah, drop his name. Drop it.
It's the Michael Snellgroos rule.
I would bet that he's actually very proud of that. Like, he's like, all right, I did something so unique and bizarre and weird and different that they had to make a rule and name it after me.
Yeah.
You also have to you gotta have a certain high pain tolerance. In fact, this dude that I mentioned earlier, Connor, who one time he hit me with a standing headshot. It was a great throw from across the court, but it literally knocked the contact out of my eye. Like, it just and I was like, luckily we use they're kind of softish rubber balls, so it hurt, don't get me wrong, but it didn't like knock me out. But it was like, whoa, did I just take yeah, that was crazy.
It's funny because we call those balls no sting, but they can sting if thrown by the right person.
They are, yeah, exactly. Thrown at the right speed, anything can sting. Well, the quiz is complete, and I'm glad that I did not lose. We ended up tying, which I feel good, because then in that case everyone wins.
Yay!
But Dodgeball John, you put together a wonderful quiz. We're so appreciative of you coming on. We would love for you to plug Dodgeball. Personally, I think anybody who wants to go out and have some fun and get some exercise, it's a great thing to do. But do you want to kind of plug the sport in general and maybe how people can sign up and play?
Yes, absolutely. WorldDodgeballSociety.com. Check them out. There's WeHo Dodgeball. Just Google dodgeball. I'm sure you could find pickup leagues in your local park, which is actually how a lot of people came across our league, funny enough. But yeah, please, go out and play. Go to the bar afterwards, sing karaoke, and buy a drink to the person that you blew up their face. That's how a lot of friendships are born.
Totally. Yeah, one of my favorite things about the league was just the social aspect of it. That Dodgeball John is a great example. Someone who I probably would not have reconnected with if it weren't for Dodgeball. I that everyone was really kind, and then there's like a kind of like a house bar that everybody goes to afterwards and has drinks and celebrates. There was one other point you just made that I wanted to comment on, and it's totally slipping my mind right now. Oh, that you mentioned that people literally just at the park, that's how they find you. I just wanted to share the story of, like, we were recruited literally by a flyer on my friend Danny's car. At one point, you guys went out and canvassed Long Beach and put flyers on cars, and I remember that we shared that fact. Maybe it was with you, Dodgeball John, but we shared it with various people, and they were like, "What? The flyers actually worked? They brought in 2 people." So, so it was a great way to be a part of a community and be part of a. I related a little bit to like Ultimate Frisbee. There are a lot of friendly people who come out, and if you're coming just to sort of play for the fun of the game while also getting that competitive nature out, it's kind of a win-win. It's a great experience. I highly recommend it.
Yes.
All right. Well, congrats to both of us on tying, but a big congrats to you, Dodgeball John, on being a wonderful guest and being a great ambassador for the sport of dodgeball. We would maybe we'll see you out on the floor, but we'd love to have you back as a follow-up quiz when we're ready to get more in depth on dodgeball. When we're ready to really dive in deeper.
Yes, absolutely. I'll look up more dodgeball factoids when I Google dodgeball
exactly.
factoids.
Just yeah. And I also do love that if you want to play dodgeball, just type the word dodgeball into Google, and I promise it'll work out for you.
Yes.
All right, OG John, any closing remarks from on your end?
No, it was a fun quiz, and I appreciate Other John you coming on and doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, OG John.
Yes, and Dodgeball John, making sure I'm not stealing the floor from you. Any closing remarks?
No. Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Yes.
It just makes me kind of look back at the dodgeball journey and appreciate it even more. So this was a lot of fun.
Well, and I agree. It makes me think like, oh man, I gotta find something that's gonna work. And if I have to miss a week here or there, I will, because I would love to get back out there, and especially if it's with you, Dodgeball John. So let's get either a dodgeball game in the future or a Dodger game for sure. Let's make that happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, appreciate you two that are in front of me right now, but also appreciate the audience for listening, and we'll certainly be back for next week for another episode.
Yep, sounds good.
All right.